Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca from DevourDinner.com. Welcome to my kitchen, everybody, and happy Sunday. I'm excited to be here. I hope you are too. We're going to be making one of my favorite recipes for Instant Pot Cashew chicken. And let's just make sure we get all of our technology connected before we get going here. As you pop on, please say hello. We're gonna make sure that we're live both on Facebook and on YouTube. And let's see if we are live. I'm seeing a few people pop in. Welcome, welcome. Yep, I think we're live on YouTube as well. So that is fantastic. Perfect. You know what we don't have? Oh, here we go. Hi, Emily, how are you? Hi, Trelva, how are you? One thing we do not have done is, let me grab one of these cords and hope I can get to it. Can you guys hear me okay? I know the audio is working, but the question is, can you hear me okay? I don't think we can. All right. Hi, Sherry. How are you? Sherry is from Nebraska. Welcome. We're going to have fun today. So today, first thing we need to do is we need to start the saute feature on the Instant Pot. We want to get that bottom element heating up so that we can cook our ingredients that we're going to saute first before we put them under pressure. And that beep is telling us that it's recognized that we have pressed the saute setting, and so it's going to heat that bottom element. It'll take a few minutes before this front panel reads hot, and so we're just going to let it warm up. We're going to let it do its thing while people are joining in, and we're saying hello. Hi, Mary. Hi, Susan. Susan's from Kansas. Oh, good. Thank you, Susan. Susan says she can hear me. Kathy says hello from Florida, but she says the volume is okay. Irene says, I am so glad you're live today. I am happy to be back. I've been traveling. I'll tell you about my travels. Hello, Amy. Amy is from the Instant Pot 101 for Beginners group. Big shout out to Amy. Any of you that are hopping over from the Instant Pot 101 for Beginners group, we're happy to have you here. I'm Rebecca from DevourDinner.com, and we are live both on Facebook and on YouTube today. Both places you can drop comments in the chat. Ask your questions in real time, and I will be happy to answer those questions while we're doing all this fun stuff. So make sure you just add them in. Hi, Amy. Amy, a different Amy, is watching over on YouTube right now, so welcome. Hi, Mary. Kathy said, I made 3 of your dishes while you were gone. I love it. Kathy, which 3 dishes did you make? I want to hear. Okay. While we're waiting for this to heat up, remember we just turned the Instant Pot on, and so we're waiting for it to heat up. I want to show you something that I have done. This is because I'm excited about it. It's about my protein company, but it's so cute. So I saw the protein company, Clean Simple Eats, a while back. They went into small business break rooms and did a makeover of their break room for their business, for their small employees, right? And I thought, how fun would it be to work in a small business where the owners cared enough to provide wonderful protein, hydration, your greens when you came to work? Like, how cool would that be? And then I thought, well, I work from home. Why can't I do that for myself and my family, my boys, when they come in and out of the house? So let me show you what I did, because it is so cute. Look, I put together this tray of single serve packets of the protein, of the greens, of the collagen, of the hydration, of the energy drinks, along with some Powerade, some juices, right down even to a shaker bottle so I can just grab and go. But I have all my little single servings right here. I've got my greens, so you can have the variety of greens, and even nut butters. If you're not familiar with what nut butters are, I add these into my protein. So think of it as like a caramel drizzle or a chocolate drizzle. And there's so many different flavors. Like this one is a coconut macadamia butter, which is delicious. But they have so many different flavors. Like this one is an almond cashew butter. They have, this is a salted caramel. This is a Cinnabon. The sweet classic peanut butter. There's just so many fun things that way. And so I just thought, look at how cute. So this sits on my counter. And it's really fascinating because when I get a craving and I want to eat something, I have seen this and I immediately go to it and just make myself something, which is so much better than grabbing a high carb, high sugar kind of thing. And so it's super, super fun. As always, if you want to order from Clean Simple Eats, use code Devour Dinner, one word, all caps. At your order, you'll get 10% off, and it's fabulous. Okay, I'm gonna put that away. I think, oh, it's still reading on, so we're not quite ready over here, but we're gonna push this out of the way. It's really funny. My son, who lives out of state, just arrived earlier today, and he walked in and the first thing he saw on the counter was this. And he's like, ooh, what is this? And he came over and immediately started picking some things out. There's something about the visual display that is just fun and inviting, and it just makes my heart smile. And so it's something fun that I did for my family. So Kathy made the goulash, the Instant Pot honey garlic chicken, and the air fryer apple crisp. Oh, those are great choices. Sharon says, hi, Rebecca from Florida. Welcome, Sharon. How are you? It's good to be here. I've been gone for 2 weeks traveling, and it's been crazy. Let's see, we've celebrated a couple of birthdays. Little Miss turned 3 years old. I had the funnest little date with that little munchkin. And so that was really fun. Let's see here, there we go. All right, I have just put some olive oil in the bottom of the pan, and now I'm gonna add to it some cubed chicken. I don't know if I'm gonna use all of this or not. We'll see. What, a little more. All right, the point of sauteing the chicken, that is a lot of chicken. And if we were just to dump it in, it would be one big clump of chicken, and it would take a really long time under pressure to cook the center portion. But if we take just a few minutes and we brown the outsides of those pieces of chicken, then they won't come together anymore. And then we can cook it under relatively short time under pressure, and that allows us to be eating so much sooner. So as always, the chicken will immediately stick to the liner. That's normal, okay? Be patient. Just let the Instant Pot do its magic before it lifts itself off. If you try to rip it off, you're gonna have stuck pieces of chicken that are going to cause a burn notice later, and we don't want that. Let me grab the link for you on the recipe we are doing. Now, if you've watched me at all, you know that the cashew chicken recipe is truly my favorite of all of my recipes. Of course, I love them all, right? And you hear me week after week going, this is so good, I love it. But the cashew chicken is really my favorite. If I was to choose one recipe, that would be the one that I would go back to over and over again. And so I thought it would be fun, since I haven't made it in a while, to do it live, and I hope you guys will give this recipe a try too. We're also going to add a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt. We're going to add a little bit of garlic as well. And don't hesitate to drop your questions right in the chat, because I am seeing those questions pop up and I am happy to answer them. The chicken hasn't lifted yet. You can kind of see a little bit down here. Once it starts to lift, it all pretty much lifts really, really quickly. go. We'll just let it do its thing. Amy, you're so funny. Oh, Sharon says, I made your Tuscan chicken pasta. It was great. Even my hubby enjoyed it, which normally he doesn't care for that kind of dish. That's great, Sharon. I love it. We love that Tuscan chicken pasta. If you are unaware of some of these recipes, all of these lives that I do are archived on Facebook, and you can go back to them at any time. Just go to the video tab and it will pull up all of the videos that I've done. I have been doing Facebook Lives now since 2018. And so there are a lot of recipes that have been demoed, answering a lot of questions. Also, if you are new here today, if you haven't watched before, I would love for you to say hello in the chat. Let us know you're new so we can welcome you. And as always, this is a safe place to ask your questions. No question is silly. I promise we won't make anybody feel silly with their question. All right. So this chicken is starting to lift up. So once we get it all lifted up, you can tell that the chicken isn't clumped together anymore. It's not cooked all the way through. It's just cooked on the outside. Just gonna scrape the bottom. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water. That little bit of water will just help me lift any stuck bits off the bottom. We're just working ourselves around the Instant Pot, scraping the bottom. That's all there is to it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. We'll press cancel on that. I'll leave that so you can see. We're now gonna add the rest of the ingredients for the cashew chicken, for the sauce. And that liquid that we're adding is what helps pressure and bring it up to pressure so it can cook the rest of the way. So for the recipe, there is 1/3 cup of soy sauce. We'll add that in. We're gonna add in about 1/4 cup of water. Ooh, I need a smidget more. There we go. And then I'm gonna add in a tablespoon of vinegar. And then about a tablespoon of some hoisin sauce. Let's see here. There we go. And then we're going to add in about 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. Now the brown sugar will dissolve relatively quickly into the liquids. Now the recipe also calls for some diced onion and some diced bell pepper, okay? In the past, when I originally did this recipe, I added the bell pepper and onions right now. But then we're gonna put it under pressure for 5 minutes. And if you have cooked with your pressure cooker at all, you know that at the end of 5 minutes, this onion will be all translucent and cooked, and your bell pepper will be on the really cooked soft side, right? So I'm gonna do it a little bit different today because I wanna show you the difference, all right? I'm just gonna stir this up really fast. You can see all that thin liquid at the bottom will help pressure this up. So for kicks and giggles, I'm gonna just throw in a couple, right? We're just gonna throw in a few, and I'm gonna throw in a few of the onions. Because when it's all done, we'll open it up and we'll look at those and I'll show you how done they are, all right? Now we're gonna close the lid. You're gonna close the pressure valve in back so it is locked, and we're going to set the Instant Pot to 5 minutes. So pressure cook, use the plus and minus keys until you get to 5 minutes. And then we're going to just wait. There we go. Those beeps tell us that the pressure cooker has accepted the reading, and it's going to start heating that bottom element. The bottom element will heat up our thin liquid. So in this case, we have some water, we have soy sauce, we have some vinegar in there. It's going to heat all of those up. And as it brings that to a boil, it will create steam. Steam creates pressure, and pressure will seal off the back of the pressure valve. Now this will take a few minutes. With pressure cooking, if you're new to pressure cooking, the time it takes to pressure up will be different with every single recipe. The reason for that is every recipe has a different amount of ingredients inside. Sometimes those ingredients are really cold, maybe even frozen. If you're putting in frozen meat, it will take longer to pressure up, as will it'll take longer if you have more meat or more ingredients. Maybe you're doing a big pot of soup and so it's really full. It will take longer to pressure up because everything inside has got to be brought up to a temperature, and then there needs to be enough steam to create that pressure to seal it off. So there is no magic time on how long it takes to pressure it up. It just depends on what's inside. Another tip, we don't want to speed that process up. Sometimes people like to use hot water or hot chicken broth or hot soy sauce when they're adding it in so that it will take less time to come to a boil. By doing that, you're actually changing the amount of cook time overall. When these recipes are developed and created, they're created with this pressure up time included in the cook time. And so if we shorten that pressure up time, it might not be enough time to cook it all the way through. So if you're ever having problems with a recipe, you might ask yourself, did you try to speed things up? How was it originally made? So there's just a tip for you today. Amy's like, yay, woohoo, yay for 5 years going live. I love that. Okay, Kathy, how big is asking the question, how big are the cubes of chicken? I think I cut mine too small and they got dry. So mine, actually, let me show you, because I have some that I cubed that I did not throw in. So let me go top down. And I'm gonna use this spoon that I'm then gonna put away. So, I don't know if you can see here. Do you see that? I try to do them all relatively the same size. Sometimes they're bigger than others. Like this one is bigger. That one's not all the way cut through. There you go. Does that help you? So it's a big spoonful, if that makes sense, or big bite. You can do them tiny, but then what happens is you don't need it to cook as long. And so I tend to do them a little bit bigger. So they're a bigger chunk, which is fine for an adult. If you're trying to feed kids, obviously it would be a little big for their little mouths, and you would want smaller portions, or at least to cut them before you're serving it or something like that. All right, let me clean up this little mess. Get this stuff out of the way, and we can just like hang out and chat for a few minutes. If you have your questions, please drop them in there. Kathy says, thanks, I think that was my problem. It could be. If you're just using too small of a cube chicken, that could be the struggle. Okay, where have I been for 2 weeks? Well, I have been visiting Little Miss, and we have been celebrating birthdays. Little Miss's birthday is a few days before mine, and she turned 3 years old, and I got to take her out on a date. And it was the cutest thing of all times. I took her to Target and we went shopping for a new outfit. She picked a dress, and I didn't know what to expect with a 3-year-old shopping. Like, I had no idea. So I had no expectations. And she wanted to carry the little basket around. And it was almost as big as she was. and we took her over to the little toddler section of clothes, and she wandered around and she touched the clothes and she looked at the clothes, and then she stopped in front of this one dress and she got so excited and she said, "Cute!" And she grabbed it and hugged it and dropped it in the basket. And I'm standing back just watching all of this unfold, and I am cracking up giggling because it was the most adorable thing on the planet. Like, it was so cute. She wandered around and found a couple of other items that she thought were just so cute and put those in the basket and had a magnificent time. I then took her over to the toy section and told her she could pick out one toy, whatever toy she wanted. And so she started wandering the aisles and she found a toy she liked, and she sat on the aisle and she starts playing with it. And then she gets up and she walks a little further and looks at other toys and plays with them on the shelf, and then goes back to the one that she has sitting in the middle of the aisle and plays with that one some more, and then gets up and looks for some others. And periodically she would find a toy that she was showing some interest in, and all of a sudden she turns around and she goes back to the aisle and she takes the toy that was on the ground and she puts it on the shelf, and she grabs a different one off the shelf and she starts carrying that one around. And then she'd play with it in the aisle and look at other toys and play with it. And this went on for probably a good 30 minutes. And at the end, I was like, "Okay, what toy do you want?" And she looked at me as if to say, "Well, isn't it obvious, the one in my hand?" And she picked a Fisher-Price Little People's airplane, which was so fun. She knows that I fly on an airplane to come and see her. And when she sees airplanes in the sky, she is constantly pointing to the airplanes and calling for me, and it's pretty cute. So I thought it was only made perfect sense that she picked an airplane toy on her date with her Grammy, which was a lot of fun. And then I took her to Baskin-Robbins ice cream. Now, when I was young, my mom took me to Baskin-Robbins, and we never went out to restaurants or even to like McDonald's for Happy Meals or anything growing up. And so going to Baskin-Robbins and getting a scoop of ice cream for your birthday was a huge deal, like huge deal. My family, we didn't even go out and buy pizza from like Domino's or Pizza Hut or whatever. Like, we went once a year to go out to eat for pizza. It was a big deal. So going to Baskin-Robbins for your birthday was tradition, and it was fun, and it was special, and those kind of things. So I found a Baskin-Robbins where they live, and I took her, and she got to pick whatever flavor she wanted. And she wanted a pink and blue ice cream, which I think was a cotton candy flavor, and she thought it was fantastic, and just had a great, great time. It was a lot of fun. Amy is asking, is she my only granddaughter? No, I have two granddaughters. So little Miss just turned 3, and then I have Honey Bear, who just turned 1 this summer. So they're pretty close in age, which is so fun. They play together, they dance, they giggle, they laugh, they do all of the things. Little Honey Bear is now a full-time walker, and she is really quick and on the move, and it is so much fun. So much fun. All right, what other questions do we have today? You guys are quiet. I'm going to drop the link for the recipe again. If you came in late and you wonder what we're doing today, I'm only doing the one recipe. So we're doing cashew chicken. So the first thing we did is I used a little bit of olive oil. We heated up the bottom saute feature on the Instant Pot, and I added some olive oil, and then I added in cube chicken. Now I did about 3 chicken breasts. Chicken breasts are not created equal. Sometimes you have ginormous chicken breasts, and sometimes you have little teeny tiny breasts. Do the amount of chicken breasts that'll work for your family for the meal that you're doing, okay? That's the best that you can do. Cube them up in, they're bigger than quarter size cubes. And we sauteed those up with some garlic, some salt, some pepper. Then I added just a little bit of water so I could deglaze the bottom of the pot. And by deglazing the bottom of the pot, I scraped the bottom to lift up anything that might be stuck on the bottom. And then we added the ingredients for the sauce. For the sauce, we used a third of a cup of soy sauce, a quarter of a cup of water, a tablespoon of hoisin sauce, and a tablespoon of vinegar, along with 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. We mix that all together, and we have had it under pressure for 5 minutes. Now we're just about done. I can see there's one right there. And then we're going to open it up on a quick release. Pretty simple, right? Now, I did add a few green bell peppers and a few onions into the pot, okay? By cooking those for 5 minutes, I want to show you how done they're going to be. These I'm gonna add afterwards, and we're gonna put the lid back on and just let it sit for a few minutes because that will soften them up. For this recipe, I think you guys at home will also agree, whenever you go out and you enjoy cashew chicken, that the vegetables are cooked, but they still have some crunch to it. And I like that crunch. And so I want to do it this way to show you the difference so you can see kind of a side by side. Now we just heard it beep, so I'm gonna push the pressure cooker off to the side, away from anything that's overhead, any light fixtures or whatever. My camera is up there and I don't want the steam by my camera. You wanna move it away from your cabinets because that steam will ruin your cabinets over time. And so we're just gonna move this over to the side, and then I'm gonna open the pressure valve. Now, if you're afraid to open the pressure valve, many are. If you received one of these ladles, there's a nice little notch. This notch will fit right on the back and will easily open and close that and keep your fingers away. This is a little safety. We're gonna open this up when it's time, and I'm gonna make a cornstarch slurry. So we're gonna add just a little bit of water with a little bit of cornstarch. We're gonna mix that up, and that will thicken our sauce. Now I'm gonna serve this today with rice. You could also serve it with zoodles, so your zucchini noodles, which would be wonderful. You can do regular noodles as well. You could do brown rice, white rice, whatever you like. And I have cooked that off separately. Amy says this, ladies, we totally understand how breasts are not all created equal. Yeah, right? It's not always fair, is it? Same with chicken breasts. Some, if you go to Costco or Sam's Club, those chicken breasts are ginormous. And then you go to restaurants and they're all these cute little nice sized breasts, right? Why can't we find those nice little size, those tender ones to buy? That's what I want. Kathy says, I love zoodles. Okay, Mary is saying, what do I serve with this for low carb suggestions? I would do zoodles. So a zucchini noodle with it. You can always add more vegetables. Even though typically cashew chicken doesn't have a lot of additional vegetables, a carrot, a sliced carrot would be really good in here. Honestly, you could steam broccoli, you could steam cauliflower to add to it as well. I tend to load up a lot on the protein, you guys know that. And I then load up on the veggies is what I like. Fills me up. And I find during the day, because I start my day with the Clean Simple Eats protein, every morning I have a protein shake. Oh, which reminds me, okay, well, I'll get back to that. I start every day with a protein shake, and then I have some protein for lunch, and then I have a good solid protein for dinner. And because I'm eating protein all day long, I don't get hungry. Sometimes I have those like cravings where I want something sweet or I want something salty, but I'm not hungry where I have to eat a whole bunch of carbs to fill up quick because I really stay on top of my protein. On the Clean Simple Eats, they just came back with their pumpkin pie flavored protein. Will you grab that for me? It makes a wonderful pumpkin spice latte if you're into that. You can do it with or without a shot of espresso. And so it's so good. You mix it with milk and the pumpkin pie protein, and then you can like sprinkle it with some pumpkin spice seasoning, a little bit of whipped cream. It's just heavenly. So I'm gonna show you that here in a minute. First, we're gonna open this up. Oh, good. This is gonna be perfect. Now you remember those bell peppers, right? Okay. I want you to see this bell pepper here. Can you see this? Like, it's like totally cooked. I can't break through it because I'm not on a hard surface, but I think you can tell I've totally smushed it in half. This is very, very soft. In fact, it's coming off of the outer skin. Okay, see that? So that's what happens after 5 minutes of cooking under pressure, which you may like, and that's okay. But what I'm gonna do is we're gonna leave those in there. I'm gonna add the onion and the bell pepper, and we're gonna stir this up because all of that liquid inside is going to help cook this up. That way we're gonna get a nice vibrant vegetable, which just, it plates better, it looks better, all the things. Now I'm gonna turn this again to saute. So you press cancel and then saute again. And then we're gonna add this cornstarch slurry. All right. And I did, it's less than 1/4 cup of water and like 2 big tablespoons of cornstarch. Now, because we're heating up that bottom element, as this comes to a boil, this will start to thicken up. We might need to add a little bit more cornstarch, so we'll kind of see how that goes. We're gonna let it do its thing. But I wanna stir this as it's thickening, and then I'm gonna put the lid on it and just kind of let it, you know. I'm just gonna let it do its thing for a minute. It thinks it wants to pressure up, but I don't want it to lock on me. So that's why it's beeping. Sharon, yes, you can add celery. That would be great. Bill, thank you. Bill put the link to do this as a lettuce wrap. So yeah, I don't know if you can get these all over, but at our Costco, they make these really cute baby romaine lettuce, which you can just chop off, you know, the end. And then there are these beautiful little boats, and you can fill that up and have it as a lettuce wrap, which is easy and wonderful. So that's super low carb. Oh, Dar, that's a great question. Dar is saying, wondering if you could do a video on maintenance for the Instant Pot in the future. I could probably do something like that, put it on YouTube. Dar's asking, have I ever had to buy a replacement part for the lid? I've only bought the silicone ring is the only thing that I've bought. Because that needs replaced. With the amount of Instant Pot stuff that I've done, that definitely needs a replace sometimes. Now, as this heats up, this liquid will turn more translucent, and we're probably gonna need to add a little bit more cornstarch. So let me grab, I'm gonna use this lid that had the hoisin sauce in it, which is just fine. And I'm gonna pull out a little bit of liquid so that I can add just a little more cornstarch too. There we go. Oh, I can hear it bubbling down there. So as it starts to come to a boil, you do want to stir it because it will thicken up relatively quickly. And if you don't stir it, then it kind of gets clumpy. Have you ever noticed that when you're using like cornstarch. And we don't want it to get clumpy. Oh, it smells so good. So good. Look, can you see it turning translucent? The color changing? It's starting to thicken up too. Maybe I won't add this remaining cornstarch. There. I don't think I'm gonna add it because I think I like that. Now, I'm going to add some cashews because we've got to have cashews for cashew chicken. I just like to warm the cashews up. I don't like when the cashews become real soft, which is why I add it right towards the end. Oh yeah, that sauce is beautiful because I can scrape the bottom and you can see the bottom. So we definitely will not add the rest of that. Pretty easy. All right, that has come to a good consistency. I'm gonna turn this off and then I'm just gonna put this lid back on for a minute because I want those onions and the bell pepper to soften up just a bit more. We're just gonna leave it for a minute, okay? Nothing huge here. Remove some of this stuff out of the way. And let's see. All right, I'm gonna use white rice today, but remember, use zoodles, make a lettuce wrap out of it, or serve it with even more vegetables. Add more vegetables into your pot and let those get cooked up. Because right now, all of that sauce is still bubbling in there. Even though I've turned it off, there's no more heat, the residual heat is still cooking. And because I put the lid on it, it's just trapping everything in and it's heating up the bell pepper and the onion and just cooking those a little bit so they're not raw, but they're not soggy, okay? I'm gonna grab some rice. So hold on, I'll be right back. All right, so I've got some rice, but this is the pumpkin pie protein. And remember, use code DEVOURDINNER, one word, all caps. But the pumpkin pie flavored protein smells just like fall with pumpkin thrown in. So it's all those beautiful fall spices that you love. And then it has that underlying flavor of pumpkin. Mix it up with some fat-free milk. Heat it up in your microwave, add a shot of espresso if you want, dust it with some pumpkin pie spice. You can also add in like a little half teaspoon of vanilla extract and mix that up. And it is a delicious hot latte for the fall. You're gonna love it. You're absolutely gonna love it. It is wonderful. All right, everybody. Hey, if you haven't already, will you give this video a thumbs up? Give it a heart. And for those of you who have donated stars, big hugs from me to you. I really do appreciate it. If you don't know what a star is, look over in the comment section where you see the thumbs up and the heart. There's also a gold star there. The star is a tip jar. And you can donate into the tip jar. Those tips go to pay for the ingredients that I use when I do these Facebook Lives, and every star counts. And I sure appreciate it. For those of you who donate week after week, it really, really does help keep me coming back week after week. So thank you, thank you. You guys are so quiet today. It's really funny. Sometimes you guys have a lot to say, and other times you're pretty quiet. All right, we're gonna open this up. I think it's sat long enough. We're gonna look inside and we're gonna scoop this up. There we go. You guys wanna see this? There we go. It's like the magic of television. It goes dark and then it goes light. So I think, oh look, there's an onion that is definitely on the second side of the onion. Oh, you can't tell. It blows it out too much. The onions look really nice. Really, really nice. There we go. Look at that. Is that beautiful? Smells beautiful. We're gonna top it off. There we go. We're gonna top it off with some more cashews because cashews are my favorite nuts. I never have enough. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit of green onion on top, which is just something I like. You don't have to. It's just a fun little garnish. You could also add some sesame seeds if you like on top. We'll get up close and personal. Look at that. Beautiful, right? Truly beautiful. Okay, let's have a bite. Let's have a bite. I'm gonna go for right here off the side. Get me some cashews. I want an onion in here. Oh, I'm telling you, this sauce is heavenly. It's my favorite part. It really is my favorite part. You could double the sauce if you wanted, just so you had lots of it. The onion is cooked, but has a crunch. Let's go for a bell pepper. Get some chicken in there. All right, here's a bell pepper. It's perfect. It is perfect. This is an excellent meal. If you're not making this right along with me, please try it this week. Tell me what you think of the sauce. It's not sweet. Even though we put the brown sugar in there, I think the brown sugar just helps to cut the saltiness or the bitterness of the soy sauce. It balances out beautifully. It is so good, and you can make this at home. It's delicious. So give this recipe a try. When you do, please leave a comment on the recipe so you can let other people know that you made it and it was good and you recommend they make it, or maybe you switch something, or maybe you did it with zoodles. Let people know. It really does help. Kind of fun. Sharon says, you're making me hungry. We'll be making that this week. Kathy says, yum, I'll be right over. You guys are like fantastic all the way around. That is my live today. Real quick, I will be gone next Sunday. Don't be mad. It is my birthday month and I'm traveling again. And so I will not be in town next Sunday, but I will be back the following Sunday, which I believe is September 24th. So just 1 week gone. Make sure you mark your calendars. We'll be back with an Instant Pot and an air fryer recipe on the 24th. I've got a lot of fun adventures coming up. I am headed to a fun event this week out of state, and I'm really excited about it. If you follow me over on Instagram, I'll be posting over on Instagram what I'm doing. So follow along that way and see what I'm up to, because it'll be just wonderful. Mary says, happy birthday. Kathy says, great demo and see you in 2 weeks. Have a great birthday month. I sure will, Kathy. I love to celebrate all month long, and I pack it full, everything that I can. In the meantime, I'm gonna go have a beautiful dinner. I'm gonna celebrate with my son who came home for the weekend, and we're just gonna have a great old time. So, make cashew chicken. I promise, it's delicious. If you ever have any questions on the protein, don't hesitate, send me a DM, ask me questions. I'm happy to help walk you through the flavors, what I like, what I don't like. I used this product for over a year before I started working with the company. That's how much I love it, and I have tried everything. So feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to answer your questions. But in the meantime, go make this. It's really good. I'm gonna go eat while it's still hot. Have a fantastic Sunday. Remember, be kind. I can't emphasize that enough. Just be kind. You never know what battle somebody is fighting. Just be kind. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Show them grace. And above all, show some grace to yourself. Life is rough out there. We're busy. We're being parents. We're being employees. We're being neighbors. We're being family members, all of the different things. And sometimes life gets really overwhelming and really stressful. This is a hard time of year with all of our kids going back to school, and a lot of change has happened from summer to the fall routine. Give yourself some grace. You're doing an awesome job. All right, everybody, have a fantastic week. I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.